All right. Sorry, it's getting a little warm in here. We are not recording a video when I am way too hot. So, happiness, your happiness, what you define as happiness. I think that's a pretty good topic. I like that one. I believe that when I allow someone else to control my happiness, when I give them that ability, that's a mistake. That's something that I shouldn't be doing. It's good to seek little bits of happiness from all around you in everyday life and anything that you do. Yes, a little validation from anyone and everyone. Doesn't matter if you know them, you don't know them, you love them, you hate them. Always trying to work towards helping them in some way. I know that hate and anger never win against hate and anger. So when people try to cut me down, when people try to be mean to me, belittle me, be really not nice, I understand that that's because that's how they see themselves in some way. Just because I can pick something up and learn it in 2 days, and I can be better than you, and you've been doing this for 2 years, it doesn't make me your enemy. It doesn't make me a threat. It doesn't make me someone to hate and someone to have so much, I guess, frustration and anger given to. I understand fully that my presence makes most people look not fantastic, and I'm just being me. I fully understand that when I'm down at the ground level doing research, getting information, observing leadership, supervisors, how things are done, I fully understand that my presence makes most people look not great. I always like to stay busy. I always like to go above and beyond. I always like learning new positions. I always love coming up with ideas. And I always love sharing that knowledge. I'll give you an example. I wanted to teach a coworker all of my problem-solving skills that I've developed in the 1.5 years that I've been working at that place. I tried to tell my boss, like, hey, you need to put him with me for 4 hours a day for 2 weeks, and I'll teach him. I'll teach him everything that I know. He won't be click, click, type, click. He'll know what he's doing. He'll know how he's doing it, what he's doing. And his entire life, his entire job will be so much easier for him. It's not going to be easy in the 2 weeks that I teach him, no, because he's learning new things. I'm going to be teaching him different ways to approach situations, different mistakes other people make, and the reaction is not being upset. The reaction is not placing blame on those who made those mistakes. The focus is, here's the problem, okay? No fault of mine, right? I'm just doing me, I'm doing my job, and here's the thing that someone else didn't do right. That's gonna cost me 20 minutes of time. It is in that moment that we do not waste a drop of energy on blame, on disgust, on resentment, on hate, on anything of that sort. No. It is in that moment we look towards what we can do. We look within. We take a deep breath. We take a step back. Okay. We're in the problem. What can we do to fix the problem? It's not my fault, right? I didn't cause this problem, but this problem is now mine to solve. It is now mine to finish. It is mine to deal with. Yeah, correct. Oh, totally correct. Someone else probably realized this problem. and just walked away. Yes, correct. No, that's not right. I fully agree. Correct. It's not fair. It's not great. It's a real shitty thing for someone to do. See a problem and go, well, not my problem, and then leave it for some other poor schmuck, us, to deal with. Yeah, no, it's not fair. It's not great. But what I know immediately is that complaining about that will never do anything for me. It'll never help me find the answer. It'll never help me solve the problem. It will only use my energy to create a pool of negative energy. And if no one's there, like me, then we'll just make a big pool of negative energy and spend all of our energy negatively to make this pool of negative energy. And then, well, now we're tired. We spent all of our energy. Did we solve the problem? Did we find a solution? No. Great. We just blame them and blame that, and they should have done this, and that should have happened, and this shouldn't have been done, and what does this do to solve the problem? What does this do to get us out of this situation? Absolutely nothing. It's extremely difficult for me to teach someone that I know you feel that negative emotion. I know you feel that hate, that anger, that frustration, that just negative energy. I know you feel it. I know you do. It's like, I don't know, if you take like a 5-hour energy and you're just, woo, all right, holy shit, I'm awake. Except it's negative energy. It's hate. It's evil. It's malice. It's someone doing something which I assume by accident, and you wanting so hard because they have given you a problem that you didn't do, that you then want to cause 3 times more problems for, because they made a mistake. They maybe don't even know that they did that thing that is causing you so much strife. I want to run you through how I think most people will encounter that situation and how I do it. Or maybe the other way around. I think I might go first. Boom. I'm working. Everything's fine. I stage out 11 and 11. 2 of those 22 don't have valid tags. What do? I verify the parts in those bins, and then I go and print myself 2 new tags and throw them on the bins and scan them. And we're good. Maybe a 45, 60-second setback. And we're good to go. I take mental note that happened, that the whole department, whose job is to put correct valid tags on the bins, didn't apparently do the one thing that they're supposed to do. But again, mistakes happen. I make mistakes. Shit can happen. Maybe the guy's mom died. Maybe he was tired. Maybe they were short 2 people. I don't know. But assume the best instead of giving in to that easy road of hate. Don't assume that, oh, they're just fucking dipshits. Oh, they're probably doing this on purpose. Oh, they're just fucking... No. Assume that someone's mom passed away and that he wasn't really at work mentally, and that's why this mistake happened, and it's okay. We don't need to go point it out to him. We don't need to demean him or cut him down. Mistakes happen. I'll take a mental note of it, and if it keeps happening, 3-4 times a week, okay, well then I'll go over to that department and I'll come up with a game plan of how, as a group, as a team in final FA, that we're going to come out with a meeting, a stand down, a talk with everybody about the importance of doing the one thing that your department does. right? And the ones in that department that do their job correctly, and not perfect, but do it right every time, they're just gonna be like, what a fucking waste of 3 minutes. They think I don't do this, I already do this, and that's fine. It's not for them. It is not for them. It's for the 2 or 3 new people on the off shifts that maybe weren't trained very well, that maybe don't know the right way. It's for them to go, hey, these are mistakes that we've been noticing have been happening. We're not mad, we're not upset, we're not angry. Definitely not, definitely not. But in the case that maybe you are the one leading to this mistake, here is how we're supposed to be doing that part of the job. Here's the step-by-step of how we do it. Here's how we have our checks and balances. Here's how we make sure we're doing it right. And if you have any questions, we will hand out little pamphlets on how to do that job, that part of the job, correctly. It's very simple. We're not trying to like over explain. We're not trying to have steps in there that are too confusing. No, simple, to the point, a little meat on the bone, but it's exactly where we need it to go. And that's what I mean. That right there creates happiness. The ones that were making that mistake, that are new, that don't know, instead of confronting them, demeaning them, you fucking idiot, you fucking knew this is what the fuck we're supposed to do, all right? This is our job. It's real fucking simple. You can't fucking read 2 sentences? No. Negative energy, hate, just bad everything. No, we don't do that. We avoid that completely. We want people that come in to work to have a positive experience every day, to have a good experience every day, even if they're making mistakes, even if they're not doing as they should. And how do we keep that alive? How do we always have them having a good experience, but at the same time pointing out failures of doing their job, lacking in certain areas? That's where true leadership comes in. That's where we come in, right? That's where we very indirectly go, hey, you know, Craig tried to ship out a truck yesterday, and he was so upset, and he wasn't too happy because these pallets, they weren't banded after they were wrapped. As I'm looking at the guy that I know, right, because I already know the story, I already know who it is, but I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to expose those cards. I'm just going to say exactly what I just said and go, you know, just shooting the shit with him. And I'll probably be like, what? Why was he so pissed off? And I go, because those need to be banded. Those are pallets that we band every time, right? Like, there's a reason why we're always banding this shit, right? Certain ones we don't, certain ones we do. But when we're short 2 guys and we have a lot of trucks showing up, the ones that need to be banded should be banded already. Otherwise, it screws us up a good 45 minutes. And that's hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in detention, right? I'm indirectly making them aware of the problem without accusing them of making the problem. I'm letting them know of a situation that we are having that is a direct cause of them, but never once ever blaming them, telling them that it's their fault, right? I essentially expose to them the problem and why that problem is being made. And again, I already know that it's this employee, right? Everyone else bans those pallets. Everyone else does what they're supposed to do. I know that it's this one because I've seen them do it. But once again, we're not coming at it negative. We're not coming at it in a shitty, mean, you're not doing your fucking job. You need to do your job better. This is what this is what we say to do. This is what you do. All right, you do what I say. No. I just let them know that a problem exists and how that problem is created. They can put two and two together in their head, all right? They're not dumb. Oh, these should have been banned. And because I didn't ban them, it caused a big problem for him. Correct. And you're supposed to ban them. You see how he can put that together in his head? And I try to word it in a way that is more of a, yeah, we don't know who's been doing that and causing these problems, but we really need them to stop. And, you know, instead of sitting on their ass, instead of just standing here not doing anything and then causing these problems by not taking 20 seconds to throw a band on a pallet, it would be a lot better in your interest if you would ban those, as you should do, in case you didn't know, because here are the problems that we keep creating. I'm kind of, in a way, showing them the punishments and the penalties for what will come if they do not start doing their job correctly. But more importantly, I am emphasizing and focusing on the problem that they are creating and how that problem is created and how it is so important, and it matters a lot when them, because I know that they have free time, right? And I got no issue with that. But it's like, if we're gonna be standing around on our phones for 2 hours out of an 8-hour shift, why don't we stand on our phones for an hour and 50 minutes and you ban the ones that you need to ban in order for people to ship out? Because then we have no issue, right? I got no issue with you being on your phone. I got no issue with you not wanting to do any extra work for the pay that you make. I'm totally fine with that. You want to make more money? I say become more valuable. Learn different jobs. Pick up some new skills. Go look busy, even when you have nothing to do. There's always something you can do to add value to a company. Always. And a lot of people are like, well, my pay raise, I don't fucking care. And I'm like, yeah, you work that whole year for your next raise. So when you work shitty for a year and you get a shitty raise, and then you work that whole next year really shitty with no effort because you got a shitty raise, so you're not gonna fucking show any effort, what kind of a raise do you think you're gonna get the next year? Is it amazing and fantastic? No. You work that year for that year's raise. So if you got a shitty raise, I would highly emphasize looking within. How many hours did I spend on my phone? Standing around, sitting on my ass doing nothing. Was it 10 hours a week? Was it 5 hours a week? Was it 15 hours a week? Were you constantly trying to do your job as quick as possible, regardless of quality or safety? Just get it done, so then you can stand around and do nothing? Okay? How do you think your raise is going to be? When you're doing your job really piss poor and you're doing it unsafe? Yeah. I need you to realize that that doesn't lead to anything good. And then you get upset that you didn't get a $5 raise for putting in no effort, doing a shitty job, and having no standards of quality or safety. I don't know. It blows my mind. I guess to wrap it up, happiness. For me, it doesn't matter what I do in life as a job. I enjoy working for a corporation on the ground level, understanding the real problems of that company, and then going to the plant manager, production manager, maybe even corporate if needed, and to just give them the real problems, not what everyone else tells, not what everyone else says and blames everyone for. No, just the real problems. And normally it's that hidden language that I'm so good at. It's just the different attitudes, the different ideas, the different mindsets that people have that is not leadership at all. And the fact that someone made them believe that that's what leadership is, like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that that happened, and I'm sorry that you gave up on yourself, and I'm sorry that you didn't have the courage and the strength to stand up for you. And I understand that's why you treat other people and me the way that you do, because that's the way you were treated until they broke you. But when you meet someone like me, I'm very quiet, I'm very passive, I'm very observant, I'm very kind. But you can't break me. I've already been broken when I was like 10 years old. And when I put myself back together, I chose me. I love constructive criticism. I love constructive feedback. I really do. I find the more that I understand other people's perspective, the more rich, and the more kind, and the more empathetic and generous, I guess, my personality, my kind can be. But yeah, happiness comes from within. Happiness comes from where you are right now today. Exists in the present. It's a gift. That's why it's a present, because it's always right here, and then it goes. It's a powerful thing to just appreciate being alive. Appreciate every breath of air that you breathe. Look up at the sky and just realize that it's a miracle that you're here. So many people get caught up in the little problems and the little bullshit, the little things with that thing of this thing. And I'm always just like, have you ever just gone on like a walk and just laid in the grass and looked at the sky? You ever just taken 5 minutes to just love the fact that you're healthy and alive and breathing? Sometimes you gotta do that. I like to spend most of my time in my daydreams and my visions and how I'm gonna bring them to life. And I love even more when I do bring them to life. I think the hardest part for me is when people will not accept that they are in full control of everything they do. Everything negative around them is a byproduct of them. And if it requires me to act like we're already there, like we already have that amazing leadership community and team, okay, I'll do that. People call me crazy and stupid and weird, and that's fine. But when I'm always encouraging people's mistakes to be brought up to light, to be shared, to be shown, hey, he made a mistake, hey, I made a mistake, hey, he made a mistake too. No one's perfect. So when we keep putting on this persona that we're perfect, we make no mistakes. I know you're lying. I know you're lying right there. I don't care of all the reasons how you're perfect and how you show you're perfect. I know you're lying right there. No one's perfect. No one will ever be perfect. Everyone has their weaknesses. Everyone has their strengths. Everyone has the parts of them that they don't like and they don't really want to see or work on, and I fully understand that. I mean, I'm right here. The parts of me that I don't particularly like and want to accept, I mean, that some people won't change, and some people won't accept the fact that to change is different and unknown and scary, and to stay where you are in the reality you have will only lead you to more pain and more suffering and more hell. If you just take my hand and try, I know it's scary and new, but the unknown is only unknown until you walk into it, and then you realize it's pretty fucking awesome. Because as long as you're always trying to be the best you, you'll always become the best you. There's a lot of changes you may have to make, yeah. Things that you may not think are possible, but once you realize you can do anything you want to do, you can change any part of you, when I flagrantly show my weaknesses and my strengths, the parts of me I don't like and the parts of me I do like. That's a very clear warning to people. Hey, use my strengths. Here they are. Here are my weaknesses. Here are my soft spots. Here are the parts of me that I don't like, that are really sensitive to me. So please, for the love of God, don't ever poke at those unless I ask you for help on them. And I find most people just go, nope, I'm perfect. I got no weaknesses. I got no. And I'm like, really? The one way I know how to prove it to you is to poke at your most sensitive spots, the things that you criticize me for so intensely. Just because you may not think a lot or be able to critically think all the time, and you constantly try to degrade me for overthinking, thinking too much, thinking all the time. Yeah, but to me, I'm just being me. I'm not doing anything crazy over here. I'm just being me. Weird how you always act like I'm overthinking. If I flip that backwards, that's because they probably struggle with critically thinking and thinking in the big picture. And instead of using a javelin to poke them in that spot, I offer them help. And hey, you want to just spend 10, 15 minutes with me as I critically think about a couple different topics and maybe get your insights on it. You know, I just want you to follow me along with the way I'm thinking and what I'm thinking about and all the things that are going into my thoughts. You know, it seems a little weird. It seems a little goofy, and not most normal people just leave you alone, right? Because when you tell yourself, I can't critically think, well, you're right. You never will. Until someone like me, a real goof nut, comes along and goes, well, you can. And if you're willing to just hang out with me for a little bit, I'll show you how. I'll critically think about a couple different ideas and things that I want to bring to life, and maybe a couple different visions if I feel like they're really feeling it. And then I'll give it to them. I'll let them critically think about a couple different topics. And are they thinking about all the different ideas and possibilities and side effects of that one thing by making that one choice? And at that point, I ask them, what do you want out of life? What do you truly want out of life? Like, what is the thing that you love in life the most? And for some, it's like being a firefighter. I don't know. Building Eiffel Towers or big buildings, being in Saudi Arabia and seeing the world. And I go, okay, that's a vision we can critically think about, and we can enjoy that, and I'm sure you will. But what I do here is I take that vision that you love so much that you wish was real, and instead of working forward, my gift, my skill, is taking that vision, everything, and I work backwards from it on how you're going to achieve it and how you're going to bring it to life. When I talk about visions with people, they oftentimes look at me like I'm crazy. What do you mean visions? Are you seeing shit? Are you tripping? I'm like, no, you clearly not like me, and that doesn't make me better. No, it's a gift that I have where I can vision a future that's happier, more harmonized, more go with the flow, easier, and I bring it to life. I work backwards from that vision. The bigger visions are a lot harder to bring to life, but when I really want them, I need you to realize that there's nothing that'll stop me from bringing them to life. It may take a year, it may take 4 years. But that day when I bring them to life, when that image, that little gif in my head of when I bring that vision to life, when I finally see it with my own eyes and I don't have to be daydreaming about it. That moment, that feeling, it's the happiest moment of my life. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of time. But when I finally achieve it, when I never give up on it, and I don't need to think about it, I see it. It's magical. It's magical, man. Hope you guys are doing great. Happy New Year to you. If you guys have any, I don't know, any goals and stuff you guys want to bring to life, I mean, just email me. ComputingAsh@gmail.com. We can work out something. If anything, we can do a test conversation, and I can just show you that I'm not kidding over here. Any dream that someone has, I can bring to life. I can lay it out step by step. Personally, I don't, it's not that I don't enjoy nice things. It's that I don't think I deserve them being me. I've always been tormented, being cast aside for my gifts, and I just try to help people achieve like their true vision, like who they truly are, their true happiness. And a lot of people gave up on themselves a long time ago, and it's hard. It's really hard for them to take that bucket off their head, to realize that was a lie 20 years ago when they told themselves that they can't do this. Because I can do anything. When I'm existing in a world where I have so many of these gifts, and as a kid, life was really horrible, that I never planned to live past 20. A couple of very pivotal things happened, and I told myself, I can't do that. The hand of death, that's my reminder. That's my energy. That's so much of my self-love and a reminder of who I am when I go in my dark moments, and when all I see are my demons and my angels are nowhere to be seen. I always have that tattoo to remind me of that day that I chose me. I chose to keep going. Even when the future was pitch black, even when there was no hope, when there was no incentive, when there was no motivation to keep pushing on, I kept pushing on because I told myself, well, if we're at the bottom and we have nothing to gain, if we're at the bottom and we are at the absolute worst, well, that means we have nothing to lose. That means we have everything to gain. That means the only way that we can go is up. We can stay where we are, or we can try. If life is so horrible that it can't get worse in your mind, realize that life can only get better, and it will always keep getting better as long as you keep telling yourself that it will. My angels have all the power in my world. The demons have unlimited power, dark energy. I can draw on them whenever I want to, but when you rely on dark energy and use it, there's always like a side effect of using it. That you don't get from just using the good energy. When you have nothing left, when you have no angels beside you and no energy left to draw on, yeah, it's totally fine to use the devils that sit on your shoulder. It's totally fine. But realize every time you do, there's a price to pay. There is a lot of self-reflection, a lot of looking within. The more you use that energy from them, the more energy you give them over you, power over you. So while it is a good idea in the short term, if you solely rely on them, eventually they take over and Nothing good comes from that. Easy, pimp.